So what is the AWR? The AWR is simply a repository that collects, processes, and maintains statistics for problem detection in the database. So they are copied by a background process called the mmon to the file. When mentioning the AWR, some questions come into our mind. For example, how do I make an AWR report? How do I read an AWR report? And what are some of the statistics collected by the AWR? Or if you want, what does the AWR report contains? So this is just to name a few. So I'm gonna do my presentation using the questions above. So I'm gonna go detailedly into the AWR, including the report and the plan. So before I start, I'm gonna give a quick history about the Oracle performance gathering and the reporting tools over the years. So originally, the UTLB stat and the UTLE stat were the scripts used to monitor performance metrics. Oracle AI introduced the stat pack functionality, which Oracle 9i extended, and Oracle 10G stat pack was evolved into AWR, or AWR report was released in Oracle 10G. It is just the same as when you're mentioning the data form. No. Yes, when you're mentioning the data form, it is always important to know about the recent or the ancient or the traditional import and export. Some people are going to ask like, why, or is it necessary to know about them? My answer is yes. Yes, why? Because in some working environments, the stat packs are still being used. Why? Because you need to know that as compared to AWR, StatPack is free. StatPack is free. So let us get into the subject. AWR, what are some of the statistics that are collected by the AWR? We have the resource intensive SQL statement. We have the wait event that is used to identify performance problems. We have some system and session statistics from the $VSys stat views and the $system stat views. We have the object usage statistics, and we have the active session from the $session history. By default, snapshots in the AWR are taken every hour or every 60 minutes, and they are retained for 7 to 8 days. But this default value can be altered using the command begin DBMS workload repository. You create a snapshot, and so the changes to this to the settings are reflected in the DBA underscore history underscore WR underscore control view, and are relevant for the AWR snapshot can be identified using the DBA history snapshot view. So how do I make an AWR report? So you need to know that Oracle provides 2 scripts to produce an AWR report. What are those scripts? We have the AWR rpt.sql and the AWR rpti.sql. And the 2 reports give essential output, but AWR rpti.sql allows you to select a single instance. So The reports are generated as follows. So on the screen, you can see at !/admin/admin/awr rpt.sql. For those who don't know, the question mark signifies the Oracle home. Or if you want, it is the U01/app/oracle. I think so. U01/app/oracle, or you can just do $oracle_home/rdbms/admin/awr_rpt.sql. This is for the first script. The second script, it is the same thing, just that awr_rpt, you add the I at the end .sql. So it is $oracle_home/rdbms/admin/awr_rpti.sql. And when you put this command on your SQL Plus, or when you type this command on your SQL Plus, the script prompt to enter the report format. Do you want it to be in a text, or do you want it to be HTML? For those who've tried it before, if you choose it to be in a text format, yeah, it's gonna appear on a text editor. But if you choose the HTML format, it's gonna open in a browser. So after putting your report format, the script will prompt you to put the start snapshot ID and the end snapshot ID. Then you can put the report file name. You can put any name as long as you remember. You can put the AWR report, you can put whatever name that fits you. Then the resulting report can be opened, as I said, in a browser in case you choose the HTML format, and in the text in the text editor in case you choose the text. So it is accordingly. Okay, so how do I read my AWR report? So for somebody that doesn't know, so suppose you guys watching me or listening to me don't know anything about the AWR report. For somebody who doesn't know, the first advice I'm gonna give you is to run an ADDM report before running the AWR report. Why? Why? Because the ADDM report provides the root cause analysis of the part of the system consuming the most time. And as such, it narrows down your research, your AWR area of focus. I repeat, for somebody that doesn't know anything about the AWR report, the first advice you need to know is that you have to run the ADDM report before running the AWR report. Because the ADDM report provides the root cause analysis of the parts that are the part of the system consuming the most time. So it narrows down your area of focus in the AWR report. So I'm not going to go detailedly into that, believing that the person doing the ADDM is going to explain it to you. So when looking at an AWR report, a good place to start is the top 5 event. The top 5 foreground event. The section is just on the top of the report. Another person might choose the top 10 foreground, and look at those with the high weight percent. So it gives you an indication of the problems in the system. Just like when you look at your archive log on your WinSCP, when you look at your archive log on your WinSCP, you're not gonna you won't be looking at, like, for the first one, there's no. As compared to the AWR, when you're searching for the problems in your archive log, you're gonna go deep, like all the way down to find the the problems in the meantime. But for the AWR, you will look at the top 5 time foreground events section that which is beside the top of the report. So this is just to be able to detect the bottlenecks in the system during that sample period. Once you've identified the top events, you can scroll down to see what SQL and programming language are consuming the majority of those resources. On the main report section, you can click SQL statistics link. I will have wished to do that to explain why doing that, but unfortunately, 2 people cannot share the screen. So on the SQL
sharing.
I'm not connected to my computer, Anita.
Okay, you can get on my computer if you want.
Oh, can I
just request remote control?
Go to my phone.
Oh, geez. Okay, never mind.
No, I can't. So on the SQL statistics section, you can click the SQL ordered by link that is most closely related to the weight event you identified in the top 5 foreground events section. So yeah, I think I've said all concerning the questions I listed above, which is how to make an AWR report, how to read an AWR report, and what are some of the statistics that are collected by the AWR report. The next one is the ADDM report. Oh God. The next one is the ADDM report. I don't know if the person presenting the ADDM report is already connected. Okay, I guess no. So I'm going to take that for him. So the next one is the ADDM report, as in automatic database diagnosis. So you guys should bear with me because I haven't really prepared this one because it is not my part, but I'm going to do my best to explain.
Ronalda, 1 second, please. The group that did the ADDM report, they are there. I don't really know why you want to do it, unless you choose to do it.
No, that's fine. It's okay. Thank you. I'm going to stop my video.
So, hi everyone. I can say, Bibish, we go ahead. I know that Ronaldo said that because the person assigned for the introduction of the ADDM is running late. You guys know that Gaitan changed our schedule, so most students cannot really start at 5 p.m. That's why they are running late. And to avoid maybe skipping some part, Bibish will go ahead and introduce what is the ADDM, and then I will continue. It's Marinette talking. Thank you.
Okay, hi class, my name is Bibish. I'm going to talk about ADDM. As Marinette said, what is the ADDM? Like we can see on the computer. The ADDM is an automatic database diagnostic monitor. So it's a self-advisor built into Oracle using statistic capture in AWR. So ADDM automatically and performance, and gives recommendation on how to solve problems and bottlenecks. The ADDM analyze data capture in the automatic work AWR to determine possible problem in Oracle. It provides hourly report of the database performance based on a AW snapshot. It runs automatically after every snapshot. ADDM analyze is performed after each AWR report by default, and the results are saved in the database, which can be viewed using Oracle Enterprise Manager. Before using another performance tuning method present in this guide, we should first review the results of the ADDM analysis. So Marinette, you can take over. I don't know, or I can continue. I don't know. Hello, Marinette?
Yes.
So you can take the second page so I can go back.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Marinette, and I will be talking about ADDM and what does an ADDM report contain. So as we see, he provides a recommendation to solve the identify issue and improve performance. Some of the recommendation may include hardware changes, like increase the CPU, and he can also, we can also have as a recommendation the database configuration, and he means that he can change the initialization parameter, and the schema changes like hash partitioning, a table or index. We can also have application changes like using the cache option for sequence. And another recommendation can be using other advisor like Secret Tuning Advisor, and we have a lot of advisor. ADDM results are represented as a set of time which are qualified in terms of the causes by the performance issue. And each ADDM finding can be categorized in one at follow. So we have more than one. The first problem can be finding describing the root problem of the database performance issue. And another part can be symptoms. And those symptoms contain information that often link one or more problem finding. So we can have more, not only one, it can go more and more according to what we have using that database. And we have information. The information finding that use the report non-problem area in the database. Can I get into the second slide, please, Anita? So after the recommendation, we have another part, which is the ADDM analysis. And the ADDM report analyzes the AWR data on a regular basis, and to give, he gives you overview of the root cause of the problem which affecting the database. And we have more than one, so those analyses can include like the CPU load, the memory usage, the input or output usage, the resource intensive as SQL or Java, and the rack issue, the concurrency issue, the application issue, the object contention, and also the database configuration issue. So after the analysis, we can talk about the second part, which is the demonstration. I will be giving the demonstration, and then Bibish will go ahead and show the practical part. So before that, how do we generate and read an ADDM report? An ADDM report can be generated using SQL Plus or Enterprise Manager, which is the OEM. It shows detailed findings for an ADDM run. So when we run the ADDM, we can use, when we are using SQL Plus to get into those findings, we can enter this SQL out a question mark / rdbms/admin/addm rpt.sql. So when we enter that command, we go into the report, and then we go into the detail and see the finding. The finding will give us the recommendation and then the solution. And he doesn't always give us the solution. So he may sometimes just give the recommendation, what they have, but doesn't give us show us how to solve the issue. And as a DBA, we do what we know. And after that, you choose the format and time for the report. And also, it is recommended to use text format when generating ADDM report. It's just only the text format that we use for ADDM. For the other tool, we can use HTML or the text. But for this one, we always, it's recommended to use only the text format. The ADDM has related view that can be used to display the ADDM output with using Enterprise Manager. And some of this include, just want to say that beside the SQL and then the Enterprise Manager, we can also use some other to go through the same process or to get the same result. And those are DBA_advisor_task. And then the second one can be DBA_advisor_log. And also DBA_advisor_recommendation. And the other one can be DBA_advisor_finding. And by using this, we get the same result. Here we have, so guys, you guys can just excuse us because it's just one person who is passing the PowerPoint. So that why you can see someone just have to wait, and then, so that is the problem, but you just have to bear with us. On the Enterprise Manager, the part is database performance advisory center and then advisor tasks. And we can see the advisor center here, and all the components that can go into or inside that, or all the information that we can open and get what we need inside that advisor center. The ADDM does performance analysis between a period of time and we give finding in case of any issue. I say some few minutes ago, if you find some issue, he will give you based on the performance, not the performance, but based on the qualification of the issue. So if one is more than the second, he will start by the first one and then give all the way on to the last issue. And some findings include hard passing and user throughput. Bibish, we go ahead and then just give us the practical part and we will all see how he works. So, Bibish, the floor is yours. Thank you.
So, Bibish, I'm just going to stop sharing now.
Yeah. So the way Marinette was saying like about ADDM, so I can add something before going to practice. The goal of tuning the performance of the database is to reduce the database time of the system for a given a workload. By reducing the database time, the database is able to support more user requests using the same resources. So I'm going to try to share my screen. So I don't know if you can see my screen. I'm going to get on Pudi. So I'm going to try to, I don't know if I can be here. Let me check my, just a second, I'm checking my, okay. When a ADDM report by Pudi, I have to go like to generate a ADDM report by Practica. So I have to connect to my database and I can go to CD, I have to CD to check for the ADDM report before roll call. This is the path to check your reports. If you need to run a ADDM report, just go on /rdbms/admin. I can try to, if I don't forget, I have to go back to the SQL. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I have to connect to my SQL. I have to run this at ADDM. As Marinette was saying, RPT is a report. So the ADDM report .SQL. So here we do have a snap starting. I can run. So I do have more snapshots here. Okay. So listing the last 3 days of completed snapshots. So I can check, they say, those are the, let me come back. Those are the snap ID. And when it started, the time, we do have time. So I can go back and I can pick just one. Like I can say here, the beginning snap, I can pick here 8 o'clock. I can see no, I can pick 12 o'clock. I can start by 4:60. And I can put the last time to snap between 4:60 to 4:65. So enter value for report name. I'm going to put the name of the report. So I can just name it text ADD RPT. I can just put this, I don't know, whatever you can put, enter. So I'm trying to generate the report by text RPT. Those are the end of the report. As you can see here, the database is BBC, my name, the ID, the database ID, the database version. The ADDM perform an analysis on instance BBC. The total of the total database time was 56 seconds, and we can see the end of the report. So to get that report is by text, the way Marinette was saying. We can just download that report and try to send it to the desktop so we can analyze the report from there to the desktop. So there is also another way to check for the report is by Enterprise Manager. But I'm trying to open my Enterprise Manager. It's acting a little bit, I don't know why, but I don't want to stress myself. I just check something here so I can explain from here. As Marinette was saying, some of the problem can be check on ADDM, because the ADDM is like analyze and diagnose problem from the based on the AW report. So the way we did with the SQL, you can check by time by going to OEM performance. You can go to advisor. When you check on advisor, you can click on view results. And when you click on view results, you can also check your snap, your ADDM report. So we do also have I can give an example. I don't know, I don't have a typically example by my OEM because it stopped working, but I can give an example like based on a AW report, in case of the buffer cache is undersized and the blocks are being flashed too quick. Just an example for buffer cache ratio is 90%, as we know, but the hit ratio is less than 90%. So we have a high rate of cache miss. So the ADDM will also analyze, diagnose, and give us a recommendation. As a DBA, a smart thing to solve that issue will be to increase only the size of the buffer cache in SGA. So you can increase that size, because I don't want to increase the all SGA. It's going to take us a lot of resources and a lot of time. So like I gave an example for the buffer cache, we can just increase the size of the buffer cache in the SGA. So we do also have that command. You can check for the size by doing a select all from Vidola. I can go to my PuDi to show it. I can go to my PuDi. So you can do just by, we can select all from Vidola SGA info. So by doing that, you can also check the size of your buffer cache we do have bytes, we do have the response here. So by checking that, you can know if you do have that problem, and you can run your ADDM the way I said for the buffer cache. If it's the buffer cache issue, you can increase the buffer cache. Instead of increasing all the SGA, it will take a lot of time, and it's not gonna be really good as a DBA to lose those, because the time is really precious. So I think I'm done. Thank you.
Please stop sharing your screen.
I don't know if Desmond is there.
All right. So we talked about this, and then the demonstration, actually the scenario. So now we're going to talk about the active session history. Corinne, this is your cue.
Hello class, hello Gaita. My name is Corinne. In this session, we discussed about ASH, like Anita said. Yeah, okay, 1 second, I forgot. Yes, I will say on this session, we discussed about ASH, like Anita said. What is ASH? It's active session historic was introduced with Oracle 10G. By the definition, is the historic of recent session activities stored in memory together with the automatic workload repository. The statistics are stored every second. When they say the statistics are captured every second, sorry. By the statistic, you can capture a data historic of database activity. Yes, contrary to the AWR, that gives you only the top SQL. ASH contains all information about every second. It contains statistics and data that is necessary for performance tuning. It gives you easy access to real-time and historical performance information. If your issue occur for only 1 minute or 2 minutes, those things do not appear on ADDM funding. You can handle that with the ASH. The ASH is snapped by default when you purchase in the Oracle Diagnostic Pack. He keeps a record of active session at the particular point in time. The information displays statistics about SQL statement, SQL plan, object, web event, session, module, action service, and consumer groups, to name a few. When you talk about active session, you think about a $$ session is a dynamic performance view who basically have information about a session, is what a session is doing at any given time. I want to talk about active session, that's about the SQL, but when is the session is inactive, is about the item. Anita, I think so that is your cue, right?
Hold on.
Okay, I'm going to give the next part to Anita. I'm going to come over again to talk about the scenario. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm Anita, and I am going to talk about, so when you talk about the ASA, you want to know what it contains, but first I would like to talk about where you can actually find the data found in the active session history. We have the $V session, which is a dynamic performance view. Dynamic performance view, that means that you can actually get information about what the database is doing as it's happening. So the $V session contains active and inactive sessions, information about active and inactive sessions. But to get information about the ASH, it only takes information about the active sessions. So the $V active _ session is also it's an in-memory view that contains information about active session in 1 second intervals. And this information usually only contains information that is within 60 minutes. So if you want something that happened maybe like the past hour or 2 hours, you will not get it under the $V active session history. You can get it under the DBA _ history active session history. And this actually contains information in, this is supposed to be 10 seconds intervals instead of 5. So sample information that you can get in the ASH, you have the SQL identifier of a SQL statement. So pretty much everything you can get about a SQL statement, like the actual syntax and the explain plans, you can get it under the ASH. And then you have the object number, the file number, the block number. So if you have let's say if you have a query, you can identify how many blocks were read during that query. Wait events identifier. So here you can actually know how long that query took to execute. And also the IO, the IO, the input output information, as well as anyways, I'll come back to it. So the session, you also have session identifier and session serial numbers. So every time you start a session, you have a serial number associated to that session. So it has information about that. And it also has information about the clients and the actual user IDs and yeah. It also has information about the types of SQL and the DDLs, the DMLs, has the service hash identifiers. So this also is really good to identify errors that happen within a very short period of time. So like for instance, the AWR will capture information that is within an hour, but if you want something that happened within maybe 2 minutes, you want to look into the ASH. So you can actually identify bad SQLs through the ASH. So a bad SQL can be identified as one that affects other SQLs from happening. So let's say maybe the wait time is too long. You'll know that that's a bad SQL. All right, so now I'm going to demonstrate on how you can get a ASH report. So like I mentioned in the previous slide, you can obtain the ASH information through views, in-memory views, or you can also obtain it through reports. I am going to show you can actually obtain the reports through the SQL, SQL Developer, and Enterprise Manager. But today I am just gonna demonstrate on how to get it from a PuDI, so SQL Plus, and also how to get it from the Enterprise Manager. All right, so I already sort of had a session started here. I am just gonna, what I'll do, okay. So I would like to connect to my database here. Okay. So one thing, like Bibish mentioned earlier, you can get a ASH report as well as the AW and the ADDM report through by going to the Oracle home/rdbms/admin. But I am not gonna do that because when you generate a report, the report would actually go to the directory where you went into SQL. So I would like this to go to, I would like this report that I'm going to generate to go to Aura Data. And I have a directory called job. Actually, no, let me not put in there. So yes, my report is going to go to /Aura Data. So what I want to do now is I want to get into SQL.
Anita, I'm not sure you're in Aura Data.
I'm not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I am currently in Aura Data, so I want to get into SQL. And then from here, please bear with me. So here I would like to issue, it's gonna be at, and then like Renata mentioned before, this is, the question mark signifies Oracle home. So you want to read that. And then it's gonna be /rdbms/admin /ASH so ASH report.sql. All right, so report type for an ASH report, also as well as the AWR report, is recommended to use HTML because it's more visible. I mean, it's more legible, I guess, easier to read. So I am going to choose HTML. And here, if you're not sure of how to generate this, you can just go to the example like I said, it will give you information in 5-minute intervals. But what I guess I'm going to choose 6. No, first you put the date, 09/07/20, and then you put the time. I think I'm going to go with maybe 5. Oh yeah, this is 24-hour format. So 5 is going to be 17. I'll say 5:30, and then 00. All right, so I'm going to run the report till now. So it says press enter to analyze till current time. And then here you have to enter your report name. I am going to just say what? Economics. Economic ASH underscore ASH. So right now it's just generating the report, and it's going to send it to /Aura data. Well, I guess this is the report, but I'm going to read it as in /Aura data. So I'll go to my WinSCP, go to my Aura data, and this should be my report generated 7. Okay, this is it. Huh. Okay, I think I'm going to try this again. I think maybe I should have done text.
Try opening with the browser, maybe.
I'm sorry?
It was good for you to do text.
Yeah, okay. My bad. Sorry, wrong information. All right, so. /RDBMS /admin / SQL. Okay, so let's cross my finger. This works better. So it's gonna be 09/07/20, and then 17/30. Okay, I think this is better. All right, so I'm gonna go and check this, refresh. All right, so this is the report. As you can see, it has the DB name, the DB ID, everything, the host name, the CPU used within the time selected, the the SGA size of my database, buffer, cache, and all that. And here it tells you where it actually got the information from the active session history. Active session history. Yeah, like I said, it will give you information within an hour. So if I maybe did, I wanted information from maybe 1700, I think it will get information from the active underscore session, DBA underscore history underscore active session history. So it gives you information about the top events, CPU, wait time, and then pretty much everything about the event, about what happened in your database. So top background, it gives you average. So I haven't been doing anything. I haven't done much. So this is not, it wouldn't show me a lot of things here. Service module. So here will tell you the service, you know, what went on, which user were using the client IDs. It shows you the program as well. And it tells you the SQL type. So, you know, there was a select, insert, delete, actually 30 selects. Okay. Maybe, I guess when I was starting my database or something. Yeah. Top SQL with top row. I am trying to find top SQL produced. Okay. So yeah, so this gives you a very detailed information, whereas the ADDM report or the AWR will not give you this much this information, because this focuses on sessions, whereas the AWR reports focuses on the big picture. Now I am going to try and show you how to generate a report in OEM. All right, so you go to your database. Alrighty, it's not cooperating. So I already generated one earlier because it was taking a long time, but let me show you. This information is the same as what was in the Okay, so you go, it's under the performance, you go to top activity. And then, so yeah, this show, like I said, it shows you in 5-minute intervals. In Enterprise Manager, it shows information in 5-minute intervals. And also it's color coded to show the type of activity that's going on. Like I said, I have not been doing much, but here you can see all the username, the activity, the session IDs. Looks like Sysman is doing most of the work here. And also, if you click, like for tuning purposes, if you click the SQL ID, it can take you to, you can actually see the exact syntax that was used in that SQL. You can look at the plan. Usually, SQL statements with very high percentage of activity are those that, and wait time are those that, like the problematic SQL statements. So those are the ones you want to look out for. So it shows you the plan in case there was no plan for that one, okay. Shows you tuning history, and yeah. Now, how do I go back? I'm sorry, I'm having issues here with my database. Okay, so performance, top activity. And then if you want to generate a report, you can do it as here as well. So just run the report. You can select the time frame. So as you see, it's already set like 5 minutes interval. So from 12 to 17, that's 5 minutes. And here you can actually filter what you want on your report. SID will just give you like everything on that's happening in that database. You can filter by SQL ID, weight class, and so on and so forth. So I want to see everything that's happening in here. I'll just generate the report. Oh, worked. Okay. So I feel like this is, on Enterprise Manager, is a little easier to read, but it's pretty much the same. You have the database name and all the other informations, and you can already see that you can actually just click to whatever you want to see here. So you can see that the ASH report is divided into top events, the load profile, the top SQL and PL / SQL, top session, activity over time. So on the top session, you have the top user events and the background events and the P1, P2 values. So just like on text here, this is pretty much the same information. Yeah. So, and also here you can actually see the complete list of the SQL statements that were used, and then the procedures. And yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Corinne to continue with the presentation.
Okay. Hello, class. I need to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Let me refresh the definition. Okay. Yeah. Yes, to refresh the definition for the ASH, is an integral part of the Oracle database self-management framework is extremely useful for diagnostic performance problems. It comes handy when you try to troubleshoot real-world work scenarios. Anita, can you go to the next page?
Yeah.
Yeah, for scenarios, you can get a call that the database is running very slow. ASH can help you with troubleshooting the issue because he shows the wait event of active session as well as the top SQL associate. If I take the example, the system was low between 10 p.m. and 10 p.m. And the ADDM analysis for the time period between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. does not show a problem. Then a transit problem may have occurred for only a few minutes of the 10-minute interval. So you can handle this kind of issue with the ASH. Can you go to the next, Anita?
Yes.
The other scenario, you can get an emergency call from a user claiming that he or she issue a query at a given time, but keep receiving an error. ASH will be essential in this diagnostic because it shows the data about top session and top SQL at the particular point in time. First, you should check that the say user was effectively working on the database on the say time. Then you can go for to examine the problematic SQL statement. Okay, that's all for the scenario today. Thank you. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned earlier about the ADDM, and you said when you generate the report, you can actually see like the buffer cache was full. And you also mentioned that you know, we can increase the size of that buffer cache. How do you increase the size? Can you show us?
I think she showed you.
I show you by the command of I did select. So I don't know if I have to go back to my PuDi, but I share the command by select all from SGA info. Instead of increasing all the SGA, like I said, it's going to take more time and more resources as a DBA. If it's I gave an example, if it's the issue comes from a buffer cache, you can just like a scenario, because my OEM is acting, so I cannot really show everything. But I said you can just go and try to see your buffer cache. If it's your buffer cache, you just increase the size of the buffer cache by doing select or from SGA info. And by there you can check and you can change that size. Thank you.
Okay, so I can change the size on PuDi.
You can do on PuDi because I showed the command on PuDi.
Okay, so when I run that command, that query, and then I guess I have the result. What should I do?
When you see is because I gave a scenario like you do have a problem with your buffer cache, right? Your buffer cache are like just an example for buffer cache is the ratio is 90%, but you found that the it ratio is less than a 90%. So we have a high rate of cache miss. So ADDM will give you that recommendation. But in case if that is a buffer cache, you just do that select all from Vidora SGA info. And when you check you can change from there.
Okay.
So
And another quick question. Can you do it too in OEM? Like increase the size of the buffer on OEM?
I didn't try on OEM to tell the truth, but I did it on PuTTY.
Okay. And by the way, I like your the slide of your presentation. It was really nice. The design especially was really nice.
Thank you, Silver Spring.
Thank you.
I have a question. Hello?
Yeah.
So is there any way you can like, just increase the buffer just for demonstration purposes so that we can literally see how it's being done?
Okay.
Let me stop sharing.
So the way I was saying, like here, select all from $SGA info. So by doing that, you can see here, fixed SGA size is no. He do buffers is no. Buffer cache size is yes. So by doing that, if I don't forget, is, let me see. Don't know if I still have that command. So give me a second, I'm going back to my book so I can see the command again to the way to increase it. I'm coming back. I'm checking my notes because I can't forget, I have to go back to my notes. I don't know if you do have another question by coming back, I can share it.
Okay, I'm gonna help Bibish. So what she was talking about was having the buffer cache on the size that causes additional read in the input and the output. So what the ADDM is gonna recommend is for you to configure your database. If I want to configure my database but not using what she's saying, I can decide to increase my SGA target. I can increase my SGA target using by altering the parameter SGA_target, or I can do it using my automatic memory management. Because I guess that one seems familiar to you guys. Using the automatic memory management or altering the parameter SGA_target, just in case she doesn't find the command to increase the size of the buffer cache. You can just decide to increase the SGA target as a whole, and your buffer cache, I guess, is gonna be
okay.
Okay.
Let me intervene here before you guys proceed. I don't want people to come out of this on this scenario with the wrong answer or something that doesn't make sense. First of all, not because you will run a report and it will tell you that you have to increase the memory and you will run straight and go and increase the memory. You will never do that, okay? And I will tell you that why, because, okay, if what I say doesn't make sense, just cut me right away. Let's assume just today we have some job, maybe some report to run at a particular time. And due to the number of transactions, the number of users connected, okay, we have some resource issues. The buffer cache is small. Yes, it's small now because we have, some special jobs that are running, from payroll or whatever. Payroll, they are running their job. We don't run payroll every day, right? So they are running. And I think because of that, we just go ahead and increase the buffer cache. No, it's a temporary issue because, okay, the job is running. Maybe we can think about it in the future in case frequently we are having memory issues. So don't think that whatever you see on the ADDM report should be implemented. The GBA always have to investigate, okay? And I will come back to it when you guys will finish this presentation. I think unless you guys are done, because if you're not done yet, I will come back to the AWR and the EDDM, okay? Because there are some critical areas I have to emphasize. So keep that in mind. The ADDM can tell you the size you should allocate. It can give you that. It can definitely give you even the size of the buffer cache you can allocate, okay? And you can get it from there. You don't need to, to do that yourself. Most of the time, it can give you that. But again, as I said, it might not be, you don't have to jump straight and implement, okay? You are dealing with an environment. Everything has to go through some changes. Everything has to go through a process. If you want to change something in the database, it has to go through a process. You don't just go ahead and just run a script and just do that. I can guarantee you that before a company allows you to change the value of a memory, it has to take some time. You have to you have to make sure that the issue has been coming up back and forth, okay? After, okay, analysis, okay, definitely maybe the issue is the memory. We have to increase the memory and, okay, and that's it. But not the first time you run the report. I want you guys to know that first of all. And second, if the problem is the buffer cache, it doesn't mean you have to include the SGA. Be careful. You have to be careful with that. If the problem is the buffer cache, by increasing the SGA, all right, if you are using maybe automatic memory management, it doesn't mean Oracle will allocate a lot of memory to the buffer cache again, okay? If you have enough free space, then allocate to the buffer cache itself. If the buffer cache is the issue. If you have enough free space, the GP cache size parameter can help you to do that. But it's a static parameter. So you can change the GP cache size and you set it to the value you want to, or the value recommended by Oracle. You can do it that way, or you can create a P file from SP file, you go to the P file. You guys know the P file, on top of the P file, you have the memory allocations. You can change it right from there. And you just have to recreate the SP file from the P file and bounce the database. You guys learn that. Okay, so to fix one thing, it's not what I don't know how to explain to you, but don't take it that light. It's not that light as you guys may think. That in case I have this problem, by just increasing the memory, fix it like that. No. If my problem is the share pool, I fix the share pool. If my problem is the buffer cache, I fix the buffer cache. Okay. But before I proceed, okay, are you guys done with? You guys have something else to present, right? Or that's it?
Sir, there were two groups that were to present today.
You don't.
No, but I see. You guys have explain plan, right? I want to make sure.
Explain plan for
Silver Spring.
Yeah, that was the demonstrations.
Explain plan. Explain plan is not demonstration. Explain plan, have a topic, explain plan, right? On my PowerPoint, you guys saw explain plan, right? Hmm? So you guys
Guys, I don't understand what you mean by explain plan. Can you just, I don't understand.
But on the PowerPoint, you guys saw explain plan, right? I taught explain plan in this class, right? I even taught you, I taught explain plan and I generated some explain plan, right? You never heard of explain plan before?
No.
Wow.
You mean like how to read the report?
Because I never touched explain plan in this class and execution plan.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I'm surprised that you guys don't know explain plan. I touched explain plan, I touched execution plan, and I showed you recently how to create an explain plan or an execution plan using GBMS Xplan package. And I told you that the optimizer is the one to create the explain plan. So I touched it. I cannot say I never touched it. I touched it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Why are you guys saying it's a demo? It's not a demo. I put it on purpose. On purpose. Explain plan. So you guys missed that part, and it's a vital area. So definitely, because I cannot just let it go. Friday, I will want you guys to present explain plan because I have 1 hour Friday with the morning class. You guys also, I will try to find some time on my schedule. Please, I want you guys to take 30 minutes or an hour on explain plan. It's very important. I cannot just let it go like that. You cannot have an interview without explain plan. You cannot have a sequel, somebody interviewing your performance tuning, and if that person focuses on sequel statement, you will not have an interview without explain plan. I can guarantee you that. So if I just let it go like that, that means I'm just, that is one head at all. So yes, okay. So explain plan is something you guys have to prepare as well, okay?
So this group.
Can I come again, please?
I said this group.
Yes, your group. What you can see on the document, it is at silver screen, right?
Okay.
Yeah, please. Assign to silver screen, please. Don't do that. Okay, it's good for you. It's good for the class. It's not good. Maybe it's also good for me to see you guys work on it. Okay, please, please make that additional effort, please. Yeah, yeah, it helps us. Okay, and clarifications or questions. Okay, people ask questions and I will come back. Since you guys are done with the presentation, people who have questions, they ask their questions and I will come back at the end because there are some critical areas I want to put more light on and I cannot just go to the next presentation like that. Okay, guys, let's take questions. Questions for the group?
I have a question for my team members. So Renata, earlier you mentioned that you need to generate an ADDM report before the AWR. I thought that was the reverse. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Okay, Anita. So there's one thing you guys need to understand. There's the ADDM, there's the ADDM script, and there's the ADDM report. The ADDM needs the statistics or the information from the AWR and not from the AWR report. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that because the ADDM needs information from the AWR or statistics collected from the AWR that I necessarily have to do the AWR report before the ADDM report. Wherever you go or whatever research you make, you will see that it is always advisable to make the ADDM report before making the AWR report. You need the AWR statistics for the ADDM to be able to make any recommendation, but you don't need anything from the AWR report, I guess. So it is always ADDM report before AWR report. I don't know if I'm right or...
It seems like we are mixing.
I think Gaetan can tell me if I'm right or not.
I think so. From what I understand is that the statistics and the report are two different things. So the statistics come before the ADDM report, but the ADDM comes before the AWR report.
Yes, the AWR statistics come before, why? Because the ADDM makes recommendation based on the statistics collected by the AWR, but we always do the ADDM report before doing the AWR report. I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay, guys. First of all, okay, since you guys are done with your presentation, that was a quite good presentation. You guys made some effort, good PowerPoint, and most of you guys were prepared. I can just see the way you were talking. Okay, that's good. Okay, very good. But the only part that was missing on this, again, you were missing a explain plan, and also we missed a lot, okay, when it comes to implementation, when it comes to AWR. That's why I gave you guys 1 hour and 30 minutes for the AWR. No matter what, okay, I always like to see you guys doing it, okay, always practicing and showing us what you are saying. Let's take an example, okay. Miss Renata, she had a lot of information in the slide, okay, but I'm not sure that if I ask you some question on AWR report 1 month from now, you will tell me something important. Why am I saying that? Because you don't have a record, okay? You don't have some written record, or you haven't explained the AWR report. You never explained the AWR report right in front of us. And I don't even know where to correct you. I don't even know where to, to tell you you are wrong or right. Because by generating the AWR report in front of us, and by showing us critical areas in the AWR report, we make more sense, okay? That is where the group failed. And I will tell you the truth, because the AWR report should be generated, and you guys should know how to interpret the AWR report. I will go based on what I know, okay? And again, I'm not Oracle, okay? I'm working on Oracle, but I'm not Oracle. But based on what I know, there is no one way of doing something when it comes to tune. There is no one way of doing something. Listen to any, to any Oracle expert, there is no one way to tune. So always say that, this is how I will do. Never say this is how we do. We don't always run the ADDM before the AWR, and I almost never do that. So that is not a one-way thing, okay? That is how you will approach. It makes sense. It makes sense, okay? Yeah, I'm not saying it's not right, it's wrong, okay? But don't never say it, okay? Even in an interview, please. Always say, this is how I do that, okay? This is how I approach it. And the interviewer will never argue with you. Okay, but never say that you should always run the ADDM before the AWR.
Mr. Gaitan, can I cut?
Always create an ADDM report before creating an AWR report, okay, when it comes to report, okay, because from approaching, when it comes to approach performance, okay, it's different for everybody, okay? So that's why on online, you will see people having their different way of thinking when it comes to performance tuning. Okay, and that's why it's not recommended sometimes to just Google something and go and do that on your production environment when you are working. When you call performance tuning, it's very dangerous. That's why whenever you are doubting, when it comes to tune, always go to Oracle support. Because people have their own way of doing stuff based on their experience, based on their environment, based on their database size, based on the load in their database, based on the amount of CPU on their server, based on the amount of memory available for the database. So that's why I always said, in performance tuning, if you don't want to be confused, take it your own way, customize it your own way, and create a scenario. Okay. Yes, before I proceed, someone wanted to tell me something? Monica?
Yes, Monica, this is Monica, sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to say for the AWR, actually, Ronaldo was trying to save us all because it was meant to be presented by 3 people, but we couldn't make 5. So she just had to sum it up and do everything by herself. So I don't know if we can get a second chance to do that too, because we're actually prepared. We're really prepared to do it, but time.
Where are others, please? Where are other people?
Like me, I'm just joining now because, yeah, 5 o'clock wasn't possible for me. And the other person too couldn't make it at 5. And AWR was the first presentation. So Renata just had to do it for the 2 of us.
Yeah, okay, understand. Okay,
Cover everything.
Second try. You can do that on Friday if okay. You can generate the report on Friday. Go to the technical part, okay?
Thank you.
Only you guys will present because the second group has to present a couple of minutes from now.
All right.
I think by Friday I will. Okay, that will also be good. And again, I think let me keep it for Friday because you guys will do that again. Especially the technicals, and I will throw more light on, on what is important when it comes to AWR report, ASH report. Maybe I will.
Please, I have a question. I'm sorry to cut you. I have a question. I don't have a question, but I just want something to be clear. I just want you to, So, You just said you never do the ADDM report before the AWR report, but you haven't given any reason.
No, I'm saying I don't always run the ADDM before the AWR, okay? So it's not like I always start from ADDM before the AWR. So I can decide to go straight and on my AWR report based on the performance graph. That means I observe the performance for my OEM and I say, okay, let me go and run an ASH or an AWR and see what's going on. Does that make sense? So it doesn't mean that when I jump, I always have to run the ADDM first before I even check the AWR. The ADDM is very good. Okay, I'm not saying it's not good. It's very good because it analyzes the AWR and give you recommendation. But again, this recommendation might not be the best now. That's the issue. So that's why it's recommended to always check the AWR. When you check the AWR report, based on your own experience, you can make your own assumption. You can have your own scenario from there. I wanted to talk about it, but since you guys will run it on Friday, I will explain why I'm saying that on Friday. Okay.
Okay, but I don't know. My question hasn't been answered. So let me ask it again. Actually, I guess the question was based on reading the AWR report. So my question is, you as a DBA, can you advise someone who runs an ADDM and who runs an AWR report for his first time to start reading the AWR report, like to start generating the AWR report before the ADDM report? Suppose the person haven't done it before.
Okay.
You know how it works. You know how it is presented. Can you advise someone for his first time to run the AWR report before generating the ADDM report?
I will advise you to run both.
I mean, what first? What comes first?
Yes. Up to you. That's why I say there's no one way. You can run the AWR first, then you run the ADDM. Yeah? You run the AWR first, then you run the ADDM. That's what I'm saying. It depends on you. Please don't take it as a one way. If whatever you think of is okay, you think is right, is coming from Oracle documentation, then you're good. Make sense? If whatever you think of is coming from docs.oracle.com or www.oracle.com, then you are right. Never make an assumption or a final decision whenever you see a documentation online not coming from www.oracle.com or docs.oracle.com, because that is the owner of the product. So if you see whoever posts, it's because of his experience or her experience. So that's why I say, I will never tell you that this is how you should start troubleshooting an issue by running an ADDM first. But that's how the person said. That's how YouTube said. But that's not how Oracle said. Because Oracle every single month posts how to approach issues depending on the environment. So I will not tell you that even if you are new, run the ADDM first. No. I will tell you, run both. By looking at the AWR, the ADDM can confirm what you saw in the AWR. You will learn. Okay? I don't know if I answered your question now.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know you want me to tell you what you want, right? But
No, not at all. My point is,
right?
I just wanted you to justify, like, if you say both, why do you say both? If you say start from this, why do you say?
I say both. I'm saying both, okay? So that you don't run the ADDM first and you already have you already have something in your mind. Because by running the ADDM first, maybe the ADDM can tell you, okay, resize the memory. Okay. In your mind, whenever you be going to the AWR, you just be thinking about resizing the memory. You already think of about the solution. You already think that the memory is the issue. But don't forget that that can be something else. Maybe there is a big job that is running and is using a lot of memory. That is the job that is there. Maybe by waiting till that job is done, the issue will be resolved. Or maybe if the job is hanging, by killing the job, of course with the approval, the issue can be resolved. But if you see the ADDM, straight from the ADDM, it will tell you resize the buffer cache. It will not tell you that the buffer cache is small because of this job. No. It will give you multiple findings. It will tell you, okay, buffer cache small, resize buffer cache. And it will go below. It will tell you, okay, long running sequence statement, whatever. But it will not relate, it will not tell you that the sequence statement is the buffer cache is small because of the sequence statement. By you going to the AWR report, knowing which area to look at in the AWR report, you can know that, okay, oh, I'm having a weight event. I'm having a high weight event. I'm seeing here a high GB sequential or high GB scatter or whatever. Okay, let me relate it to the memory. Maybe that is what is causing the buffer cache to look small because a lot of things are going on in the buffer cache. So you are going to the AWR, you don't already have something in your mind. But you are going there to investigate, and now the ADDM can help you to confirm what you saw in the AWR report. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying here.
Okay.
Yeah, just how it is. I'm not the performance you expect. But again, the way I approach it might not be the way you approach when you're working, or whoever you know is working, is approaching. Okay? There's no one way again. If somebody says the one way of tuning something, the person is lying to you. So if you approach the ADDM, it's fine, totally fine. If someone else approaches the AWR and then on an ADDM report to validate his assumption or whatever, it's also fine. If someone else doesn't even run an ADDM or AWR report and goes to the ASH, depending on the issue, depends on you. But you have to know that there's no one way of doing something. That is what you think. So keep it all the way and document it, but never come in front of someone and say, I always have to run the ADDM before the AWR. That's where you are starting, you start having your own trouble. You create your own trouble. So they always say, me, I always do that because me, not we should. That's why I told you, if wherever you read it is from www.oracle.com, then it's fine. But if you just got it from someone or Google or whatever that is not from Oracle source, then Please never say that in front of a recruiter. That is how you should. Never say you should. You can say I will, me, I do that, not we should do that. That's an advice, and I hope you get this advice all the way on any other topic. Never say I should, we should, okay? All right. Next group is to present on in 4 minutes, the next 4 minutes, okay? They start at 7. Any question?
Just to be clear, we're going to just present all over again on Friday.
No, please.
Just the other parts, okay.
Okay, yeah, let me validate even. You guys also ran the ASH report?
I did.
You interpreted the ASH?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did both on PuDi and in Oracle OEM.
Okay, yeah, because I was on something and I joined and I saw you running the script, and after I got into something else. Yes, you can just focus on just generating the report, AWR report, and interpreting the AWR report. I'm not saying you should explain again. It was well explained by Miss Nalda. She explained the theory, but theory without practical sometimes doesn't make sense. That's why I push all this stuff for the presentation, because I did not want to do that. So I just present, create it right in front of us as you guys did well on other stuff. Okay, create the AWR report and show us key areas to look at in the AWR report. Okay, and that is what we need. And also on the explain plan as well. And also on the explain plan, in the class I told you guys that I'm expecting you guys to run to create the explain plan using Chickenpox and other tools, as I thought. So yes, that's what you guys have to do on Friday. It's 1 hour, so just prepare technical stuff. That's it. Don't need a lot of concept on it again. That makes sense. Just few people can take care of that, not the entire group. Just few people can take care of that. I hope I'm not asking too much, please.
No.
Friday we can take it. You will start at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. if that is the best time for you guys. Okay. Since you guys will be the only one to present at that time, it's beneficial. And this material, as I said in the morning class, whatever you guys will be presenting, put it on the zip folder and share in the WhatsApp group. Okay, that will be used by your classmates, in the future. You can also upload it in your, I don't know, the storage you guys are using. I also upload it there for future reference. It's sometimes very important. Okay, guys, I mute myself, and the next group can take over. I think the group is LANAM group. Okay.
Gaetan, please, I have a last question before the LANAM
yes.
group.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So when doing my presentation, I mentioned the fact that the stat pad is still up to date. I just want to be sure that it is right.
The stat pack is what?
It's still up to date. That means it is still being used by some.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's still being used a lot. It's old. Let me tell you what company like. Some company like consistency. Like you can find a company, you see people have been working for 25 years. That's where they are comfortable. They never had an issue with StackPack. Why do they start using AWR? Some people don't want to learn new things. And whenever they are comfortable, they stay there. Till the day they will have an issue, then they will think about it. That's how it is. You get to company in the government agencies, they are still using 9i. Oracle no longer support 9i. The application are running on 9i for any reason. But because of their consistency and they don't want to disrupt how things are working, they will keep working on whatever they have till the day they hit an issue, they hit a bug. Like one of your classmates hit a bug, okay? I checked her server, she had an internal error. She hit a bug on TGE. And for that bug to be resolved, she needs a patch provided by Oracle support in order for it to get resolved. So, like, till the day they will hit a bug, now an Oracle engineer, Oracle will tell them, I cannot fix your issue. You have to upgrade your database to a supported version for me to fix your issue. So people are still using it a lot, and don't judge them, okay? That is for, again, for consistency reason. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I have another question. So I heard about like the AWR, you need a license. So my question is it me as a GBA or the company as a whole who needs a license to use the AWR?
You don't deal with licensing issues, okay? You do your job. The company should.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Are we good? Okay, guys. Thank you. And next group, please. Sorry for taking 1 minute, 2 minutes out of your time. Lanam group, please. You can take over. Thanks.
Hello, guys. Can I please be able to share my screen? Okay.
You can share.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys, you have to pardon me. I don't have good PowerPoint. I will just manage the one I have. Okay. This is Lanam Group. And we're going to be talking about the various memory advisors. We're going to be talking about secret tuning advisors. We're going to be talking about secret access advisors and secret tuning sets. So before we hello?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes, boss.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you guys are hearing me. So before we dive into this, I would like to talk about the ADDM. I would like to talk about the ADDM. So the ADDM is a server component that provides you with useful feedback about resource utilization and performance. And the most important of all is the automatic database diagnostic monitor. That's the ADDM. So the ADDM basically does analysis of the system. It analyzes the system, it identifies problem, and it also comes up with recommendation for fixing the problem. So it's safe to say it is proactive. So this is the ADDM here, and we have the secret tuning advisor, we have the secret access advisor, and we have the memory advisor. So basically the ADDM here is like a self-diagnostic engine or a machine which is being installed in Oracle database. So its basic function is to collect and analyze the report stored in the AWR report, and also detect possible problems, possible system bottlenecks, possible CPU usage and stuff. And it also advises or provide recommendation for the problems. And it should be noted that this ADDM, it uses other advisors to make it the recommendation. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I'll be throwing more light on excuse me, where's my PowerPoint? Okay. So I'll be throwing more light on the secret tuning advisor. I'll be throwing more light on secret tuning advisor, and my colleague will be talking about the secret access advisor and secret tuning set. So what do we know about, we've heard about memory secret tuning advisor. So what do we know? So secret tuning advisor basically, Oracle database can automatically tune secret statement by identifying problematic secret statement and implementing tuning recommendation using the secret tuning advisor. So basically, secret tuning advisor analyzes high volume secret statement and offer tuning recommendation. So let me display this picture here. Yes, let me display this picture here. So I see the secret tuning advisor like a medical personnel. Have you seen is putting on a life jacket? So it's like a medical personnel. It receives either an individual, either an individual secret statement or a set of secret statements, either from secret tuning sets, either from the AWR report or either from the ADDM. Or you also take secret statement from the share pool, such as the library cache and so on and so forth. So basically, it collects secret statement, like bunch of secret statement or an individual secret statement, then invoke the optimizer. This is the optimizer here. It will invoke the optimizer. The optimizer will basically, it's a tuning tool. It's a tuning performance tool. So it will basically invoke the optimizer to tune the secret statement and provide recommendations. It provides recommendations. So the recommendations are such as the recommendations are like creation of indexes, collection of object statistics. So it basically provides recommendation like creating an index, or you will basically provide you like information like to rewrite the secret statement. We all know that there are times, like I will show on my demonstration, there are times you will write a secret statement and it will be wrong. Then Oracle will say, no, maybe you miss an S or you miss maybe a Y. So with the help of this secret tuning advisor, it will provide you a recommendation whether your secret tuning needs to be rewritten to improve the system performance of the database. And it should be noted that this task is also automated, or you can manually start it. So I will dive now straight to my presentation, to my demonstration, sorry. I will dive now to my demonstration. So I'm gonna use two tools. I will use Enterprise Manager or SQL Developer. So if there is time, I'm gonna use the both of them. So I want to connect to my Enterprise Manager. Oops. Okay, there we go. So this is my database. So we go to performance. We go to here, Advisor Center. And we should also realize this here that the ADDM is also a fundamental aspect in when a secret tuning advisor want to make a recommendation. Because if it is not up to date or if it is backdated, the secret tuning advisor is going to provide us with the recommendation wouldn't be accurate enough. So we should make sure that our ADDM report is up to date. Then we have to go to our SQL tuning advisor. My colleague is going to talk about the SQL access advisor. So we go to top activity. So I want to use this. This is a high volume SQL statement. It's safe to say it could be problematic. I'm going to use that one. Then, so we have other recommendations. We have like this, a SQL statement. The total limit is 30 minutes. I'm using 30 minutes. I want to run it immediately. So I will submit it. Okay. So on my introduction, I said SQL tuning advisor collect bunch of SQL statement or an individual SQL statement. So I use one of the SQL statement, and I invoke I invoke the SQL tuning advisor. So it gave it recommendations. So the alternative plans, some alternative execution plans for this SQL statement were found by searching the system real-time history performance data. So it searches the real-time, like the system real-time, like the time on my operating system. Then based on that SQL statement I used, it gives some recommendation. So consider creating the SQL plan baseline for the plan with the best average elapsed time. And down here, it shows that we should consider removing the disconnected table or views from this statement, or add a join condition which refers to it. So to improve the performance of the database, or to easily, or to get a creative path, it recommend the SQL tuning advisor recommend us to use join on the table. So like I said, I used a bunch of SQL statements to run my report. Okay, and real quick, I'm gonna use this man, SQL developer. Actually, I have it installed on my machine. So like basically, let me use an individual SQL statement. So I select, let me use an individual SQL statement. Like select. So I'm selecting all from HR.employee where last name is equals to John. So I want to run that SQL statement. Okay, I want to invoke now the SQL tuning advisor to see if there could be a better way or a better path for this SQL statement. So basically it gave us the same result, select all from hr.employee where first name equals to John. So basically I used this one. It shows that the optimizer, this is the best possible plan or the best possible part the optimizer used for this SQL statement. And from our indication, I just could not have written it any better. So I'm going to call on my colleague. Let me do my PowerPoint. So I'm going to call on my colleague to talk about the SQL Access Advisor. But before that, I don't know if anyone have any question concerning what I just talked about.
We can take questions at the end. Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So I'm going to call on my next colleague to talk about SQL Access Advisor. Thank you.
Okay. I think I have to share my screen. Can you stop sharing? Okay. So hi class, I'm going to be talking about the SQL Access Advisor. First of all, the SQL Advisor analyzes all statements that are issued in a given period and suggests the creation of additional indexes, materialized views, or materialized logs that will improve performance. So SQL Access Advisor is some sort of different from the SQL Tuning Advisor in the sense that SQL Access Advisor recommends database objects for the improve the database as a whole. So with SQL Tuning Advisor, you can either use one SQL statement. You can actually use one SQL statement to improve the performance and reduce the cost of a particular SQL statement. The SQL Access Advisor definitely give recommendations for the database as a whole. So these recommendations are obviously stored somewhere where you can get it that in the future, like if we use a recommendation, if we use a workload and we need that recommendation in the future, we can still get it from the SQL Access Advisor repository. We should also note that materialized views are the logical views of our data driven by our select query whose result is stored in a table or disk. So material views are stored in disk for easy retrieval. They are just like tables who are always needed in its entire form. So to get that table, it will be more easy in a materialized state. So I'll go to this. So providing input for SQL Access Advisor. So where does SQL Access Advisor get its workload to be able to analyze the workload to produce recommendation that we needed for performance tuning? So we can get workloads from the user-defined workload. The user-defined workload is just like defining a tuning set. You can define a tuning set by adding SQL statements to a tuning set and adding the schemas to execute those SQL statements, adding database objects that might be useful to the SQL Access Advisor to analyze those workloads. So we can also get inputs from the SQL cache. The SQL cache is some sort of a repository where past SQL statements are being saved in case we need to analyze them for better performance recommendations. We also get from optional workload collection or a third-party tool to be able to get the workload that SQL Access Advisor, we use provide recommendations. Let me go to. So here there are four, as I said, there are four main input methods for the advisor. We have the SQL cache, the user-defined workload, we have hypothetical load, we have the statistics from the AWR2 that I forgot to mention. So I explained the SQL cache, the user-defined workload. I explained as this is a workload defined in the form of a SQL tunic set to be analyzed by the SQL Access Advisor. So now we have also the hypothetical workload. The hypothetical workload is created from dimensions tables containing primary key constraints. So hypothetical tables are created if we have no workload for the SQL Advisor to analyze better performance. So you can choose to use the hypothetical workload if you have no records or statistics from the AWR. As I said, the input can also be gotten from the AWR. So using the SQL Access Advisor wizard or API, you can do the following. Recommend materialized views and indexes based on collection or hypothetical workload information. So here you can recommend materialized views for easy retrieval of information. Also recommend indexes for easy retrieval of information. So it also depends on business needs. Let's say you have payroll processing this night, so you might want to run an analysis from the SQL Access Advisor to be able to get recommendation. So, and before running this the analysis, you want to select only the high cost SQL statements for the advisor to be able to give you recommendations that will help you execute the bad job of payroll processing, since payroll processing is a high cost. It's just a bunch of high cost SQL statements that are being executed. So you can also mark, update, and remove recommendations. So as I said, SQL Access Advisor gives you information, but you might mark a SQL a recommendation for future use, or you might update the recommendation, that is like modify a little bit depending on the business needs, and you can also remove certain recommendations before implementing them. So you have the choice not to implement recommendation given to you by the SQL Advisor. So you can also use quick tune procedure to quickly analyze a SQL statement. These recommendations derived from the quick tune procedure are not very accurate. They are not very accurate because we also use like one SQL statement to be able to give recommendation for database, the database system as a whole. So it's just like a 1% chance not to be a good recommendation. So we recommend partitioning of tables for better performance and retrieval information. Manage workload, that is to select which workload to analyze by the SQL Access Advisor depending on the business needs of the company. So you as a DBA, you might choose to analyze certain SQL statements depending on the needs of the company you are working with. So we'll go to the next slide. So we also have the modes of operation of the SQL Access Advisor. So we have the limited mode. These modes are just like the scope of analysis. That is how high the analytic procedure is going to get. It's going to be done. So they say in the limited, we say in this mode, the advisor will only concern itself with only problematic or high cost SQL statement, ignoring statements with the cost below a certain threshold. So if we say a statement takes like 3% or 10% of the CPU. So the SQL statement, the SQL Access Advisor, if the SQL Advisor considers it as a high cost SQL statement, might take into consideration only the high ones. So we also have the comprehensive or full scope analysis. So in this mode, the advisor will perform a complete and exhaustive analysis of all SQL statements in a representative set after considering impact on the entire workload. So here, the SQL statement doesn't have any threshold when, the SQL Access Advisor does not have any threshold when taking in workloads of SQL statements to be analyzed and to give recommendations. So here you can say comprehensive mode will take a long time to analyze the workload and recommend tuning. Hence, it has to deal with a lot of workloads and SQL statements. So here we also have an overview of user SQL Access Advisor. So here you can see that one of the easiest ways to use a SQL Access Advisor is to invoke its wizard, which is available in the Work Enterprise Manager from the Advisor Central page. You can also use SQL Access Advisor through the DBMS Advisor package. So here there are 4 main steps in generating a set of recommendations. So you have to create a task, which I will demonstrate when I'm done with my PowerPoint. So you have to create a task, you have to define the workload, you have to generate the recommendation, have to view and or implement the recommendation. So it's not obligatory to implement the recommendation. So you have here creating a task before any recommendation can be made, a task must be created. This task is important because it is where all information relating to the recommendation process resides, including the result of the recommendation process. So for you to generate recommendations, you may create a task where you might be able to find the result of the recommendation. Like it's just like a starting point for a report, where each time you need those recommendations, you can always go there and have them at will. So a task is automatically created for you as long as you want to begin to have a recommendation through the SQL Access Advisor. So you can also use, the next step is define the workload. So the workload is one of the primary inputs of the SQL Access Advisor, and it consists of one or more SQL statements plus various statistics that fully describe each statement. Typically, the SQL Access Advisor uses the workload as the basis of all analysis activity, although workload may contain a wide variety of statements. This ranking is critical in that it enables the SQL Access Advisor to process the most important SQL statement ahead of those with less business impact. So when creating a workload, we need to understand that we have high priority recommendations of the company. So less prioritized recommendations can be gotten at the end of the analysis. So here it says that you can use a SQL Access Advisor without a workload. However, for best results, the workload must be provided in the form of user supply table, SQL tuning set, or imported from the SQL cache, as I mentioned above. So the SQL tuning set will be explained in detail by my colleague when I'm done. So I just have a brief overview of SQL tuning set. That is just the collection of SQL statements, schemas to issue the SQL statements, and tables, indexes that also needs analysis. So you have use the third step to generate the recommendations. Once a task exists and the workload is linked to the task, and the appropriate parameters set. You can generate recommendations using the DBMS advisor execute task procedure. These recommendations are stored in the SQL Access Advisor repository. A recommendation process generates a number of recommendations, and each recommendation will comprise of one or more actions. For example, create a materialized view or indexes. When an advisor task is executed, it carefully analyzes collected data and user-adjusted task parameters. The resolution are then refined and stored in the form of structured recommendation that can be viewed and implemented by the user. So now, if you wish to view and implement the recommendations, so in Enterprise Manager, recommendations may be displayed once SQL Access Advisor process has completed. The recommendations can also be viewed using the catalog views. You also note that not all recommendation has to be accepted. So now, when you have your recommendations and when you view those recommendations, the SQL Access Advisor you can decide to use the SQL Access Advisor as a tuning tool to implement those recommendations for you to improve the performance of your system. So the final step is then to implement recommendations and verifying that the query performance has improved. It's optional. Our last slide is just the SQL Access Advisor repository. Just a brief overview of this repository. So all the information needed and generated by SQL Access Advisor is held in an advisor repository, which is a part of the database dictionary. The benefits of using the repository are that it collects a complete workload for the SQL Access Advisor to support the historical data. I mean by support the historical data, like you can come back and view past recommendations that you might need in the future. It is managed by the server. So I'm going to go right now to my to demonstrate how to get recommendation using the SQL Access Advisor. Go to performance. Scroll down to Advisor Central. Go to SQL Advisors, then get to SQL Access Advisor. So now here you have two choices. Verify the use of access structures. Only here is just to verify the structures. So here you can recommend new access structures. So we're going to recommend, and we are not going to check this box because it says inherit options from a previously saved task item. So we're going to have a new task that we created. So here in the task, yes, we're going to define our workload. So we can get a current and recent SQL activities. So it's going to get all the workload from the cache, from the SQL cache. You can use an existing SQL tuning set. Fortunately, I don't have a SQL tuning set ready. Or you can create a hypothetical workload from the following schemas and tables. Since hypothetical workloads are basically schemas and tables. So I'm going to use the current and recent SQL activities. I'm going to click on next. So here the access structures recommend so they recommend the object of materialized views. I'm going to check. And here we have the scope of analysis. Limited analysis will focus on the highest cost statements. Comprehensive analysis will be exhaustive. That is a little more time, but analyze all SQL statements and objects without any threshold implemented. I'm going to use limited to save time. So here we have the task name that can edit task name. Have the task description is for the SQL Access Advisor. Journaling level, basic, moderate. This is basic. Task expiration day. It's 30 days. You can reduce it if you want. Total time limit 10,000 minutes. Time. I'm going to go ahead and so you can have it immediately. Have your recommendations immediately, or set the date. Time is 45. Let's go ahead. So here, I can show SQL. Use a SQL statement that was used to get these recommendations without description, schedule time, run immediately. So here we have our we still have to submit. Okay. So the SQL Access Advisor task was created, and here we have our recommendation. Let me just click on it. It's going to show us like histogram, like chart. Take some time. I'm having issues loading this chart. So here you can also see the written part of the recommendations. The index is created 0, materials used 0 created, material log 0, partition. So here we can obviously see that our database is in good form and shape. Also view the statements. Statements that we use, the recommendations. Having issues, not we and summary. So something my chart is displayed. Basically, that's all I have about SQL Access Advisor. So if you have any questions, yes.
Wait, no, question at the end of our presentation.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yes,
so I'm going to, yes, Bello?
No, go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to hand over the presentation, my colleague. Thank you. Sharing my screen. So my colleague will proceed with the SQL tuning sets. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, class.
Hi.
Hello, Mr. Brian.
How you all
Hello.
doing?
Good.
Okay.
Let me share my screen. Okay. I'll be talking on the SQL tuning set. From our definition, we'll see that the SQL tuning set is like from the first definition, because I gave two definitions. From the first definition, you will see a SQL tuning set is a database object that you can use as an input to tuning tools. Or we can also define it as a tuning set is a collection of SQL statements that can be used for the tuning purpose. So the SQL statement that we collect to use for the tuning purpose can be as our SQL tuning set. On this slide 2, we'll try to see what the SQL set comprises of. You have a combination of a set of SQL statements. You have associated execution context such as the user schema application, the modules names, actions, list of binds values, and the environment for the SQL compilation of the cursor. Associated basic execution statistics such as elapsed time, CPU time, the disk read, roll process, cursor fetch, the number of execution, the number of complete execution, the optimizer cost, and the command type. I think when we'll be demonstrating on the practical part, we'll see how what the SQL tuning set are really comprised of, and from there we can really go and understand more better. Associated execution plan, the role source statistics for each SQL statement. So we'll talk about the purpose of the SQL tuning. Why are we doing that? Why are we carrying the SQL tuning? And as SQL tuning set enable you to group the SQL statement and related metadata in a single database object, which you can use to meet your tuning goals. Specifically, the SQL tuning set archives the following goals. One, you talk about the SQL tuning set providing an input what is happening? Okay, later. Are we getting?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. One, we talk about providing an input to the performance tuning advisors. From here, we can just understand that you can use the SQL tuning as an input to multiple database advisor, like my colleague talked about, including like the SQL tuning advisor, the SQL access advisor, and the SQL performance analyzer. I don't know what is showing on my screen, like start my video, and my video is...
I'm the one requesting.
Okay, I was talking my video is having an issue. I was the one that complained in the morning before we started the class.
Oh, okay.
And also, we can talk about transporting the SQL between the database. You can export an SQL tuning set from one database to another. This will enable like the transfer of SQL workload between the database for the remote performance diagnosis tuning. Like when exporting the tuning set, you can export it from one database. You can export it to other different database which are in the same server. So from the concept of these, the concept for SQL tuning set, the concept was to create an SQL tuning set. You must first load the SQL statement into the SQL tuning set, like from the source. Where are the source? The source, like we talk about the custom SQL, the AWR, the shared SQL area, the SQL trace files, and the ST SQL tuning set. This is where all our SQL statement are coming. From there, it moves to the filter where it is being filtered, and later on, it moves to the SQL tuning set. And because from our definition, we said like an SQL tuning set is a collection of SQL statements that are used for tuning purposes. So from there, it moves to the SQL tuning advisor. It gives the SQL tuning advisor advice to the SQL tuning advisor, also to the SQL access advisor, also to SQL performance analyzer, and also it is being transported. Like from our previous slide on the purpose of our SQL tuning set, we talk about it is used as an input to multiple database advisor. Like we talk about including the SQL Access Advisor, we talk about the SQL Access Advisor, and we talk about the SQL Performance Analyzer. So it gives a lot of advice to both to multiple database. In the filter, we talk about for also what happened in the filter, what is being done in the filter. Like it filtered the SQL statement using the application model's name, action, or enable execution for statistics. Also, it ranked the SQL statement based on any combination of execution statistics. And also what it also does is like it also saves as an input to the advisor for transport of different base when you're transporting this SQL tuning set to a different database. User interface for SQL tuning set. From here, you can see we can use the Oracle Enterprise Manager, and we can also use the SQL package to manage the SQL tuning set. We can also use the command line interface of SQL to create the SQL tuning set. Basic tasks for the SQL statement. Like I'll just move from creating the SQL tuning set, how we can create a SQL tuning set. Then from there, I'll move back to the diagram to explain. Typically, you can perform an SQL tuning set operation in the following sequence. One, you can create a new SQL tuning set. You can load the SQL tuning set with a SQL statement. You can display the content of the SQL statement. Optionally, sometimes this four part is optional. You can update or delete the content of the SQL tuning set. You can also create a tuning task, with which my colleague just talked about, the tuning task with the SQL tuning set as an input. Optionally too, you can also transport the SQL tuning set to another database. And you can also drop the SQL tuning set when you finish. So if you use Enterprise Manager, you're going to see how you can create it. It shows like the mode, how you can create and how you can export the SQL tuning set to another database. So from here, I'll move to my Enterprise Manager. From my enterprise manager, I'll move to performance. And from performance, we can see the SQL tuning set. We click on the SQL tuning set. And here you can see some of the SQL tuning sets which have been created. And from there, it can clearly show creating the SQL tuning set. When creating the SQL, now the SQL, we can see from here, SQL tuning set, the name we want to use to create an SQL, the name. So I'll just use class 26 underscore test. Let system be the owner. And I'll move to next. Here, from here, you can see pick one of the load methods to collect and load the SQL statement into the SQL tuning set. Here, we are on the part of when we talk about the various methods of creating the tuning set. When we create, we must load the tuning set with SQL statement. And the duration, we have hourly, weekend, 24. And the frequency, like every 5 minutes. And also now, since we want to load the SQL statement, we load our SQL statement one time only. I'll click on that and also move to the next. Here we're talking about the parsing schema, which is this. We talk about the SQL step and the values. I want to use the OCM, Oracle. We'll talk about the elapsed time. We shall move to the next. A job will be created and scheduled to collect the SQL statement and load them into a new SQL tuning set. The job names, the description, we want it immediately to run immediately. So I'll just move to the next. And here, tuning set the name, class 26 underscore this, the owner should be system, description, and also you can also use sys to be the owner when creating it. Create an empty SQL, no, we load it, the SQL one time only, the causal cache, all this, okay. I will submit. So we want to view, let me just view all the SQL that was used to run these tasks. I'll click on class. And from here, you can go ahead to see the SQL that was used. So this was the system, the SQL that was used to run this. Let me see, plan activities, and controls. Tuning history. The SQL text was used. The plan hash value, the parsing schema, which was system, the execution one time, elapsed time was this, the CPU was 0.5 seconds, the buffer cache was 659, the disk read 136, the modules was DBMS underscore scheduler. And also here, from here, you can see on the tab, the details, you can see how you can drop, you can see how you can export and scheduling a SQL tuning advisor. You can also schedule the SQL tuning advisor. So that is all what I have for now. In case of any question, you can later ask. But I also have a slide which is they are more details, which I'll put them to the group. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Are you guys done?
Yes, we're done, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any question for the group? Please ask.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, so the person doing SQL Access Advisor mentioned the wizard and the API. I just wanted to know, what is API? What is wizard?
Okay, the wizard is just the software that comes with the Oracle system. It's wizard or API, so both are the same. The API is just like abbreviation of application. So it's either the wizard or API. So you can use any name to describe the built-in software that comes with Oracle. It's just a software analyzer.
If for
It's just a software.
If for instance you are trying to make a, for instance, you're using SQL Developer to access the database, you are actually making an API call, okay, to access the database, because SQL Developer is a tool, it's an application separated from the database. So when you are on SQL Developer, whatever you are doing, you are actually launching API calls. So what is sent to the database is an API call. Okay, so because the request is coming from an application, that's what he meant. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good.
I have another question. I don't know if you explained that, but I did not really understand what you meant by the quick tune procedure.
A quick tune procedure is in a case where you are just analyzing one SQL statement to be able to provide recommendation for the database as a whole. As I also said that the quick tune procedure is inaccurate, very inaccurate. So it's not very recommended to use that procedure. And you use a procedure using a DBMS package that I didn't really emphasize on. Have I answered your question?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's okay, that's fine. And I have another question. So, I heard you talking about the concepts for SQL tuning sets. And in those concepts, you mentioned the SQL trace files.
I think
So
it's like was talking about SQL trace files.
Excuse me?
You're talking about SQL tuning sets?
I didn't talk about SQL trace file.
You did not talk about SQL trace files.
Oh, okay. On the
concept for SQL tuning sets. You talked about the custom SQL, the AWR.
yeah, on the custom trace file where there's just like the source database where the source where the SQL statement is being taken before filter to the SQL tuning set. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anita, no question?
I have a last question.
Go ahead, Nada.
Another has one of my questions.
You guys said that you can also use the SQL Access Advisor through the DBMS Advisor package. What is the DBMS Advisor package? And I haven't even another question. What is the DBMS Advisor package?
Is the GBMS advisor package is a procedure that when you call upon, you can do all the steps that are mentioned, like creating a task. Create a task. You can invoke the GBMS underscore GBMS.create underscore task procedure to be able to begin a task. So it's just a procedure that you call upon to be able to use a SQL Access Advisor. That one is used with PuTTY or with a SQL prompt. So sorry, I couldn't do it because it was quite complicated for me. Basically, it's a procedure to analyze workloads, SQL statements, to recommend performance tunes.
Yes, it's basically the manual way of, the manual of using a SQL Access Advisor. Like they use behind the scene, that package will be the one to run. So it's just a manual way of doing it, okay? And the package is the DBMS SQL tune package.
So I have a question about that, sir.
Yes.
So basically, the DBMS Advisor, you say like it's like a package for performance problem, like it also identify or it solve problem.
No, it doesn't solve. DBMS SQL Access Advisor, those are advisors. If you understand advisor, it means he just analyze and tell you what to do.
Actually, like a recommendation. Let me say
recommendations. Yes, only recommendation. It doesn't fix.
So it functions like Arman.
Arman doesn't give recommendation. Arman give recommendation.
Sometimes.
Which recommendation you learn from Arman?
Like your backup is absolute.
It's not a recommendation. It's just an information, right? Arman is a tool. It goes to your backup and whatever, if you list your backup, it's corrupted, it will tell you it's corrupted. Just an information. Whenever you guys even do list failure, advice failure, repair failure, behind the scene, there's a job that is doing that. Okay. Arman is just a tool, and which can help you to call those advisors to give you recommendation. Arman is not an advisor itself. Does it make sense?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any other question? Please feel free to ask questions to the group. I will prepare.
I have another question. Okay, so yeah. So I heard one of you guys talking about saying that recommendations can be used using the catalog views. What is the catalog views?
Catalog view, it's as I said, it's a view that we use to, to view our recommendations. So I have no other way to say that or to demonstrate to you how to execute the SQL statement to be able to get into it's a view like a $V view or a $V instance or Video database.
When you mean it is a view, that means if I want to query that view, what is like what do I use? What is the command I use to query the catalog view?
Sorry, but I didn't work on that.
So I have something to say about that. You can use select all from S, like sys.catalog_view_name. I'm sure it's gonna give you select all. Actually, if I will let me run in, then if it goes through, I will send it in the group, if that's okay.
All right, thank you, Bello. Okay, and I have a last question. So I just want to make sure the SQL tuning advisor, it cannot be used on SQL Plus, right?
It can be used.
It can be used. That means if I, like, when you mean it can be used, it means that if I go on my SQL Plus and I do, and I, for example, type a SQL command and my command is not right, is it gonna does it give me a recommendation? Because I get that there's what a SQL tuning advisor does is give you a recommendation on a single SQL statement or a group of SQL statements. So I believe this on SQL Plus I can use the SQL tuning advisor.
You can use the SQL tuning advisor on command line or GUI. That's what I said earlier. As well
Okay.
as all of them. SQL tuning, we don't say we use, we call. You call the SQL tuning advisor because already, whenever Oracle is providing a software, all of them are already in the software. SQL Plus is just a tool you can use to call those advisors. So it's possible, okay? And even in this morning, one of the presentations, the group, they call SQL tuning advisor, SQL access advisor from the command line. Some of you guys call it from OEM, but they created a SQL tuning from command line. So it's really possible. Yeah. And just to come back again to whatever you hear, okay? If you hear catalog views, it's not just some English, okay? It's the same thing as data dictionary view. Don't get confused about it. If you hear somebody made mention of a catalog view, it also means a data dictionary view. So it means GB_all_user_. That is what it means, okay? Nothing else. Anything that starts with GB_all_user_ is a catalog view. There's no one view. There are a lot of them. You guys know a lot of them. All tables, all_users, all this stuff. We call them catalog views. All right. Are we good here? Okay, guys, let's meet Wednesday for the next group, okay, for the next presentations. And again, this group, Greenbelt, what time do you want to present on Friday, since you guys are the only one to present? 6 p.m. is fine, right?
Silver Spring, not Greenbelt.
Sorry, I mean Silver Spring. 6 p.m. is good for you Friday, right? For your presentation. So that people will not make an excuse of their absence, right? 6 p.m.
Okay.
works? Yeah, please, 6 p.m. for you guys. When you proceed with the other groups, you have 2 groups available. Let me see. Landover has to present, and Buffer has to present. All right. Okay, guys, thank you. I have to join the meeting now. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you Wednesday.
Please, I have a question.
For me?
Yes, I have a question. So we have 2 more groups left, right? So if, for instance, they end early, is it possible to present on Wednesday?
Sure.
Okay.
If they end early, right? But I don't want to put a lot of pressure on them because they already have their own, they know that they have to present for an hour and a half and so on. So I don't want them to rush because they want to allow you guys to present. Okay. So the issue is not coming from me, right? The mistake is not coming from me. It's coming from you guys, the way you guys interpreted explain plan. Okay. So let's see if you have time, you will present. If not, unfortunately, you have to present on Friday, or if you guys don't want, we cancel it, and it's fine. Don't have any problem with that.
You do it.
Yeah.
I have a question for the class. Not for you guys. Is anybody was able to download and install the updated SQL developer?
Yes.
Because I tried.
Yes.
Say that again.
Yeah, I was.
Yes, we downloaded.
Okay.
I mean,
maybe
I
you don't-
downloaded, so.
But did you install it?
Yes.
Okay. So
The way that Gaitan said last time, so if you just follow that, you can do it. But sometimes in the beginning, he didn't work the first day, and after that, he worked. So maybe, I don't know. But I just followed the step that he gave.
Okay. Also, Eman.
I don't think he's available. Oh, okay.
It's not on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please, can you upload the video to this video class in the Dropbox, please?
The Dropbox?
Yeah, I sent you a message earlier.
Okay, I'm going to check.
Please. If you don't have access to the Dropbox, let me know, or Anita, so we can share that with you.
Okay.
So you can upload the video, please.
Cool.
See you guys on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wednesday or Friday?
My bad. Wednesday.
Okay.
So Marinette, you say you installed it, right? Can I share and then you direct me?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can go ahead. I will direct you if.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. So
Go all the way down here. On the green one, the green arrow.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the application. Yeah.
Okay, I got this one.
I think you download. I think you have to download.
This is not the new one.
The Java GDK by itself.
This.
The first time I did the same, I did like this, but it didn't work. I did it, and then I download another one.
Oh.
Yeah, this is not the new one. This is the older version.
It is, Anita. Let me do it again. Then.
Anita, it's not an older version. It's a new one, but this one asks you to put the Java, is it the GDK Java.
All right. So here, software, and then here, and then this.
Okay. You see the installation note here, right? On the side here.
Where? Oh.
You see this one GDK is required. You should download.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Download the first one.
Oh, okay. So I should X this out, right?
Yeah, X that one out.
Oh, download this one.
Yes, download that one. That's the
No,
one that
because
I
it's
downloaded. That one
required.
is the new version.
Okay.
Now it's downloading.
Oh, it was one requirement on the other side.
Yeah, there was that one required to
So I
download.
guess this one I should run it from the it should go through, right?
Yes, you go through. So once
Okay.
you
Appreciate it. It's Marie, right?
yes, it's Marie.
Oh, thank you, Mary. Thanks so much. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Marinette. Thank you all. Appreciate it again.
You welcome.
If I have any issue, I'll let you guys know. Thank you.
Okay.